Prologue. I saw you that day we came to Tennessee to take your daughter and their daughter back. The Fitzpatricks carried the child out to the rental car and placed her like a bundled heirloom in my arms. She was half asleep and fragrant from her neck, and she yawned and cuddled right against my chest as if she had always been there. Tom and Meredith went back inside to gather the rest of her things, and that's when you crossed the yard and looked at the car, and it seemed you were looking right at me. I could feel your eyes boring through the tinted glass and seeing the woman who had abandoned you holding tight to your child. I wanted to go to you. I hope you know this. I wanted to ask your forgiveness, but I was still too afraid. I could barely recognize you beneath your plain clothes, and I could see in your bearing that you were stronger than before. What if you hated me? You had every right. It was better not to know. So I remained silent. I remained a coward. I locked the doors and kissed the child's warm forehead. I pressed my back against the seat and breathed. I watched you walk up those porch steps like a lamb to the slaughter. Inside the house, I knew you would learn that you would never see your daughter again. Hello, I'm Jolina Petersheim, the author of The OUTCAST and The Midwife, and you just heard the prologue to The Midwife, my sophomore novel. And it's a pleasure to be with you today. I'm actually seated in the front yard of a beautiful Civil War era plantation house that's located in East Tennessee. And this is actually the setting for The Midwife. I call it Hope and House in The Midwife. And it's a place where daughters from all across Tennessee and Kentucky, they can come and find a refuge until their daughters and sons can be born. And the head midwife of this home, of Hope and House, is called Rhoda Moomaw. And even though she opens her home to these girls, she does not open her heart because she's lost so immensely. She lost a son through adoption when she was in graduate school, and then later on she lost another child through unforeseen circumstances. And so she just kind of closes herself off, and it's like this crumbling house depicted behind us. She just kind of refuses to open herself to these girls, and it just kind of crumbling inside, and she has this facade that's just breaking down. And this story did not start out as personal to me as The OUTCAST, but then slowly but surely it did. And God knew that I needed to write this story just as much as I needed to write The OUTCAST.